Hello and welcome to Rebel to Rise, where business meets human design. I'm Erin Hines, your darn good business coach, here to help you break the rules, trust your instincts, and own your brilliance unapologetically. In this space, we blend the power of human design with real-world business strategy so you can ditch the shoulds, embrace your true self, and create a life and career that lights you up every single day. Ready to rebel, rise, and redefine success on your terms? Let's dive into today's episode. Welcome back to Rebel to Rise. This episode, we're talking about self-trust. And more specifically, we're diving into human design authority, which is your internal compass for decision making. I want to talk about this because I think so many of us doubt ourselves at times. And no matter how far along you are in your career, this doubt comes up. Maybe not consistently, but at some point the doubt will pop up again. And it could show up as overanalyzing decisions, or you're seeking external validation through needing to take more courses or read books or constantly asking other people's opinions. And somehow we have convinced ourselves that someone else must have the answer and we are searching for said answer. We don't trust ourselves that we know what we're doing, what we need to do next. But the thing is, you've always had the answer. Your human design authority is how you access those answers you've been searching for. It's already within you. It's how you make decisions that are correct for you, and the decisions aren't based on fear or pressure or what you think you should do, but based on what is aligned for you, what is meant for you. And when you start listening to your authority, decisions become easier. You stop overthinking and you start to move through life with more clarity and confidence. I do want to mention, though, before we dive in further, that by no means is taking courses, reading books, asking for help a bad thing. You will always need to. You obviously don't have every answer. You don't know everything. I'm a person that loves learning, so I will always be taking courses, always reading, asking people questions. But what I'm talking about is I want you to get confident in your power and not have the default, I don't know what I'm doing, or fear ruling your decisions to take that course. Where in reality, maybe you just need to slow down a little bit and the answer will pop up for you versus immediately going to ask someone else for help. So today we're going to talk about what human design authority is and why this matters, how trusting your authority leads to more aligned business and life, what happens when you ignore your authority, which, frustration, burnout, regret. And I'll give you some practices to start getting you aligned with your authority and tapping into those answers within you. What is human design authority? Human design authority is the way that you were designed to make decisions. It's your internal compass guiding you towards what is right for you. And you might be thinking that that's what your mind is for. Your mind makes decisions. We've been taught to make decisions from our mind, the logic, the pros cons list, analyzing every possible outcome. But in human design, your mind is not your authority. And this is because your mind has been conditioned. It's full of outside influences, fears, expectations, where your authority is actually rooted in your body's wisdom. When you follow your human design authority, it bypasses all the mental noise and gives you an answer that is correct for you. I like to think of it as the Google Maps of your life. Your authority knows the best route. If you make a wrong turn, your authority will recalibrate and guide you back to your path. And if you trust it, you'll always end up where you were meant to be. What I'm getting at is ignoring your authority leads to misalignment. And I have learned this the hard way. When I first started my business, I was full of self-doubt. I had a very strong business background. I had a business degree. I've worked in many businesses. I knew how a business was run, but suddenly it was like, shit, it's all on me. And all my confidence went out the door. I don't know what I'm doing. And that led me to looking outside myself for the answers. I thought I needed another course and everything would magically work out. I thought I needed to follow some right business strategy, and though I didn't know what that meant, I was searching for that right business strategy. I was believing someone else had the secret formula to success, and I was determined to find it. No matter how hard I was working, my business was not growing. I wasn't focused on what I needed to be focused on, which was marketing. I was so busy and caught up searching for some answer. I was struggling to find clients, and the more frustrated, exhausted, and uncertain I became, even though I was working long hours to try to make my business succeed. And that frustration is exactly how generators in human design experience misalignment, which would have been wonderful to know then. But once I learned human design, each type has a non-self theme. This emotion you experience when you're out of alignment, you're not on your true path, what is meant for you. And so generators and manifesting generators feel frustration when they're saying yes to the wrong things. Projectors feel bitterness when they're not being recognized or respected. Manifestors feel anger when they aren't allowed to initiate freely. And reflectors feel disappointment when their environment doesn't support them. Your not self-theme is your red flag. It's your body's way of telling you, hey, this isn't the right path for you. And for me, that frustration showed up all the time because I was making all these decisions from my mind instead of following my authority and figuring out what I actually enjoyed in business. I was trying all these things that I wasn't necessarily enjoying, and it wasn't getting me anywhere. When I learned about human design authority, the more I trusted my authority, the easier things became. It allowed me to just stop searching. I was able to start trusting myself once I started seeing some momentum in my business from trusting myself more, and the needle started moving. So now let's get into the different authority types and how to start using it in your business and your life. Every human design type has a specific authority, and it tells you how to make the best decisions for you. So let's break down each of the different authorities. You could find what your authority is on your human design chart. If you get your chart from my website, it's going to be listed on the right side of the chart, and it'll just say authority next to it. So the different types of authority, we're going to start with emotional authority. I am emotional authority. This is the most common authority. So how do you use your emotional authority? It's all about riding the emotional wave and waiting for clarity before you make impulsive decisions. So whenever we're in a situation, your emotions go up and down. It might not be drastically. I have never believed myself to be a very emotional person. I've never been told that. I'm pretty even-tempered, but when I do get into situations, it's like, oh, I'm happy. Or I'm like, kind of just in a crappy mood. And those are the points where you don't want to make a decision. You want to wait until your emotional wave is more neutral. So to avoid snap decisions and be overwhelmed, you wait for that clarity to know, yes, I want to do this, instead of being in that emotional high, like, yes, I want to go to that party. And then 2 days later, you're like, oh shit, why did I say yes? So it's just waiting a little bit until you're neutral to make the decision. And so the best practice is noticing your emotions, recognizing where you are on that emotional wave before making your decision. Sleep on big decisions and really trust that clarity will come over time. Next, we're going to talk about sacral authority. So how you use sacral authority is you listen to your gut. It's a full body yes, go for it. If it's a meh, it's a no. Let it go. It's really that simple. A big challenge for you could be overriding your gut with logic or obligations, or because your mind got involved. So the best practice for you is to start practicing with small decisions. What do you want to eat? What does your gut say? What do I want to watch on TV? What tasks do I want to work on? And your gut will always tell you. Next, we're going to talk about splenic authority. Splenic authority is about listening for the quiet, immediate knowing. It speaks to you once, and if you miss it, you miss it. So a challenge with this could be trusting that instant gut feeling and letting the mind take over. So it's staying in a place where you could listen to what your body's telling you before your mind gets involved with making decisions. So really pay attention to those instant nudges and act on them before the doubt creeps in. It's best to not question it, just go with it, trust that instant nudge is guiding you in the right direction. Next, we're going to talk about ego authority, and how you use it is ask yourself, do I really want this? Your decisions are driven by desire and willpower. A big challenge with this is feeling guilty for making decisions that you might consider selfish. But the best practice for you is make choices based on what you want and not let others dictate what they expect you to do. Really focus on what you desire and move with that. That's what you were designed here to do. Your desires and wants are how you make decisions. Self-projected authority is you speak out loud to help you make decisions. So when you hear your truth is based on when you hear yourself talking. Part of this is a challenge because you think you need someone's advice when you really just need to hear yourself. So you might go to someone to ask for help, but really what you want is just someone to talk to so you hear your own voice and then you'll hear your decision while you're talking. So a really good practice for this is recording voice memos or finding those really trusted people that you know won't give you their opinions. It doesn't matter what their opinion is, you already know your decision, you just need to talk it out loud to find the decision. Next, we're going to talk about mental and environmental authority. Mental environmental authority is about surrounding yourself with the right people and spaces. Your best decisions happen when you talk things through in a supportive environment. The challenge with this could be relying on logic instead of tuning into how the different environments or people make you feel when you're talking. And the best way to do this is spend time in different places and notice how your energy shifts. And you really want to make sure that you're in a space and around people that you feel safe with so you're able to talk things through without restricting yourself on what you say. And lastly is lunar authority. And this is only for reflectors. And lunar authority is about waiting a full lunar cycle, 28 days, before making major decisions. Because your clarity comes over time. And as a side note, simple, small decisions, you don't need to wait 28 days. It's for those big, life-changing decisions. And a big challenge about waiting is that you feel pressure to decide quickly. We always have to know right away what we want, but with lunar, you have to wait. Best practice to do this is to track your moods and energies throughout the month. Really pay attention to how your energy fluctuates, because the longer you wait to make a decision, the more information you will get, the more clarity you will receive to know if the decision is right or not for you. Now, at this point, you might be wondering how authority and a strategy work together. Authority and strategy, if you nail these two in your human design, your life will change dramatically. So how do they work together? We've talked about authority is your internal compass for making decisions. But your authority doesn't work alone. It works hand in hand with your strategy. So think of it like this. Your authority is how you make decisions, but your strategy is how you work smarter, not harder. If you only follow your authority, but ignore your strategy, you might make the right decision, but at the wrong time. And if you only follow your strategy, but ignore your authority, you might be acting a way that's not aligned for you. But when you use both together, You start moving through life with so much more ease and alignment. So let's break down with real examples for each type how your strategy and authority work together. So if you're emotional authority, you wait for emotional clarity before acting because your decision-making process follows 2 steps. Wait for emotional neutrality. Your first reaction isn't your truth. Ride the emotional wave before deciding. And once you feel clear and neutral, follow your strategy. So here's some examples. A generator and manifesting generator first respond to something, then wait for clarity. A projector will first receive an invitation, then wait for clarity. A manifester will first receive an urge to initiate, then wait for clarity. And I'll break this down a little farther with examples for each type with emotional authority. So an emotional generator or manifesting generator respond, then wait for clarity. So an example, you get invited to collaborate on a project. At first, you're super excited to collaborate, but you know to wait. A few days later, you feel overwhelmed by it and you wait some more. Then finally, you feel neutral. You check with your gut. Do I actually want this? If your gut says yes, go for it. If your gut says no, let it go. And this works because your sacral gut response is instant. But if you act before your emotions settle, you might regret your decision later. Next, emotional projectors. You get the invitation, then you wait for emotional clarity. An example of this is you're invited to speak at a big event. At first, you feel thrilled and honored, but you wait to decide. A few days later, you feel nervous and uncertain, and so you wait some more. Once you feel neutral, ask yourself, do I really want this? If your emotions have settled into a yes, accept the invitation. If your emotions settle into a no, decline without guilt. This works because projectors thrive on recognition, but saying yes too quickly could lead to burnout. So waiting to ensure invitations are right for you are so important to prevent burnout. Then the emotional manifester. Feel an urge, but then wait for emotional clarity. An example of this is you get a strong urge to launch a brand new product. You feel fired up, but you know to wait. A few days later, you feel doubt and resistance, and you wait some more. Once you feel neutral, ask yourself, do I feel an urge to initiate still? If the answer is yes, move forward, inform those around you before acting. If the answer is no, let it go. Trust that the right thing will come to you next. This works because manifestors are designed to initiate, but not every idea needs action. Emotional clarity prevents impulsive decisions that lead to misalignment. So remember, when you have emotional authority, your first reaction is not your truth. And waiting does not mean indecision. It just means alignment. Trust your clarity will come, and when it does, act accordingly. Saying, let me sleep on it. Give me a couple hours. I'll let you know next week. All of those are really important for you. And if someone does not accept that answer, that is not aligned with what you are meant for. Because when you master this balance between strategy and authority, you stop forcing. You stop second guessing and feeling regret. And instead, you start moving through life and business with more ease and confidence and alignment. Next, sacral authority. So these are generators and manifesting generators, and it's all about your first gut reaction. Your steps are simple. Check your gut response. Does it feel like a yes? Does it feel like a no? If it is a yes, act. If it's a no, walk away. It's truly that simple for you. Your gut reaction is your path. An example of this would be if you're debating whether to launch a new offer. Someone asks you, do you want to do this? You instantly feel excited. That's your yes. But if you feel drained and unsure instantly, that is a no. This works for you because you're here to respond, not to initiate. And so when someone asks you, do you want to do this? You're responding yes or no. Your gut already knows the answer. You just need to listen and tap into that answer. Next, self-projected authority. So projectors. Speak your truth and then wait for the invitation is how your authority and strategy work. If you're a self-projected projector, your decision-making process looks like this. Speak your thoughts out loud. You'll hear the answer as you talk. Once you have clarity, then you wait for the invitation. An example is you're considering joining a mastermind. Instead of overthinking, you decide to talk it through with a trusted friend. And as you're speaking, you notice yourself saying, this feels right. That is your truth. You don't chase or force your way in to the mastermind. You just wait for the invitation to join. This works because your truth isn't in your head. It's in your voice. And once you know what you want, the invitation will come. So once you get that clarity, yes, I want that, you just have to then wait for that invitation. Next, splenic authority. So projector or manifester, you trust your first whisper. Splenic authority process is all about listening for the quiet, instant knowing. Trusting it before your mind takes over. So an example is you're offered a new job. You get this immediate hit, yes or no. If it's a yes, trust it. If it's a no, walk away. Even if it doesn't make logical sense, trust the answer. And this works because your splenic knowing is a whisper. It will not repeat itself. So the more you tap into listening for that knowing, the more you'll trust it. And the more you trust it, the louder it will get. So practice little decisions, like what you want to eat or where you want to go on vacation next. Just listen for those little knowings. And the more you trust those little ones, when you have big decisions, the easier and louder it will get for you. Next, we have ego authority. Desire comes first. So ego authority, this is your process. Ask, do I really want this? Let your heart's desire guide your decision. An example of ego authority is maybe you're debating if you want to raise your prices. If your desire feels strong, that is your yes. And then maybe the more you're thinking about it, the more you realize that you're doing it because you think you should raise your prices, that is a no. It's all about what you really desire. And this works because your ego authority is based on what you want. It's not about what other people think is best. It's only important what you think is best. Environmental authority is all about talking it out in the right spaces. So environmental authority or mental authority, same thing. Your process is talk through the options with trusted people, then pay attention to how different environments make you feel. So an example might be you're deciding whether to move to a new city. When you talk about it in one place, you feel clear and excited. When you talk about it in another place, you feel stuck and drained. So do you feel really excited in a place you want to move and drained somewhere else? Move to the place that you feel clear and excited by. It's all about just how you feel when you're in that environment. And this works because your truth isn't in your mind. It's in the energy around you. So that's why it's so important to create an environment where you feel clear and excited, and you will make the best decisions that way. And then lastly, lunar authority, so reflectors. Wait a full lunar cycle. So the lunar authority, your decision-making process looks like this. Wait 28 days, because big decisions need full lunar cycle. And notice how your feelings shift over those 28 days. So for example, you're considering a major career change. Week 1, you're super excited. Week 2, you're feeling unsure. Week 3, you feel settled. And then week 4, you have that clarity if you want to make the change or not. And as you wait over that time, what's important is you'll get more information coming through. If that career change is good, maybe you'll get some kind of information that's like, oh, no, I don't want to do that. And then you could sit on that and feel into it. And so the more time you have to do that, the clearer your decision will be. And why this works for reflectors is because they absorb the energy from the world around them. Really important for you over that time to separate what's your energy and what's not your energy, or someone trying to push you into some way. So the clearer you can get on what is yours and what you want, the easier decision will be. So some final thoughts on trusting your strategy and authority together. If you only take one thing from this episode, let it be this. Follow your strategy to navigate life with ease. Follow your authority to make decisions that are aligned for you. And remember, you don't have to make decisions with your mind. You don't have to follow what works for others. You already have the answers in you. You just need to trust yourself. A really helpful practice to start building that trust is journaling. You could start distinguishing what is aligned for you, what's not, what decisions did I make today that felt aligned? Did I use my authority? And noticing those little bits throughout your day that you're trusting your authority, or maybe where you let your mind take over. What was the outcome from that decision that you made? And could you trust yourself more tomorrow? And again, journaling in a journal, or even voice notes, just talking it out. Or meditation, walking outside, just being with yourself and creating that space to just think without outside distractions really helps you tap into your authority. The more you practice listening to your authority, the easier it'll get. Because trusting yourself isn't about having the answers. It's about knowing you are the answer. And when you're trusting your authority, you stop looking outside yourself for validation. You stop the overthinking. You stop the second guessing. You stop chasing answers that you already have. Because the truth is, you were designed to thrive. And your authority is the key to unlocking that thriving life for you. If you want to get deeper into authority or strategy or just human design in general, I have some fantastic resources. I have 30-day journal prompts for each human design type. So each day you'll have a new prompt to think about and integrate into your life. I also have custom personalized human design reports. I have an intro to human design report, and I also have a Your Business Success Codes report, which breaks down human design and how you could start applying it directly into your life every day. And it's custom to your specific design. So check out those. I'll leave the resources in the links below. And as always, if this episode resonated with you, share it with a friend, leave a review, and let me know your biggest takeaway. Or just let me know what else you would like to hear in these episodes. As a generator, I need things to respond to, so if anything you want me to dig into deeper, please let me know. And until next time, keep rebelling, keep rising. Thank you for joining me on today's episode of Rebel to Rise, where business meets human design. I hope you feel inspired to break free from those shoulds in your life and trust your inner compass as you create a life and business that truly lights you up. Remember, every day is a chance to rebel against the ordinary and rise into your authentic power. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a fellow rebel who's ready to lead their lives unapologetically. Until next time, keep trusting your intuition, keep breaking the rules, and most importantly, keep rising.